actually generated. So we find that as a result of these students, they learn to appreciate one another, work as a team, and also be able to appreciate that each one has a role to play, a distinct role to play. And as a result of that, they actually address the health problems of the community. They actually go to the rural settings in year 2, in year 3, in year 4, and in year 5. Year 2 to the level 3 facilities, year 4, 3 and 4 peri-urban areas, and year 5 at the county level facilities. So they actually take care, and their main focus is they look at the needs of the community. They actually participate within the community, they engage in the community, and all in all, their experience is what we call experiential field learning. And that makes our products quite marketable with just 5 attributes, which we like to emphasize. We make sure that by the time of them being trained, they actually are critical thinkers about health problems. They're analytical about the health problems. They actually try to use evidence-based to decide on how to address the health problems. At the same time, we also say, guys, you cannot just be there, you must be proactive. Don't wait for problems, anticipate problems, work on the problems before they get there. And of course, we insist that when we finish with them, they're actually agents of change. So that, in a nutshell, is what our program does. Thank you very much, Bruce, for that opportunity.
Thanks, Joyce. That's fabulous. Another strong woman is our president-elect of Rural Wonka. We've got not only in Wonka some great leaders, but also in Rural Wonka we've got increasingly a large number of young women who keep us all pretty honest about the equity side of things with respect to gender. You'll notice some stuff in the blueprint about both opportunities for women, sexual health and those services, domestic violence, family violence services. I think those things are very important. And Anna, can you tell us a little bit about your approach to equity within Wonka more generally, and guidance for us in Rural Wonka? Thank you.
Thank you, and hello everyone. Greetings from Oslo, and congratulations to the local committee and to the Working Party on Rural Medicine on a successful longitudinal conference and an important policy document in the blueprint. As Wonka leader, I have a couple of points as I have prepared, as I was asked to, Bruce, and in respect of time, let me stick to my notes. The 2 points are somewhat interconnected and relates to equity. The blueprint points out that, quote, community needs to be understood to identify service gaps and sustainability issues that rural training and development can support. I can't agree more. And speaking gaps, sustainability issues and equity, I'm happy to see that gender is included more in the final version of the blueprint, but I think it deserves broader attention. What does improvement of possibilities for women imply? With an increasing feminization of the workforce worldwide, what should be our recommendations for increasing recruitment of female physicians to rural and remote areas, and to retain them there after families are established and children born? So that is one point. The gender lens is about equity, and it is also important when addressing basic healthcare needs. As we are reminded of in the current pandemic, all societal changes and challenges have differential impact on men and women, from risk of exposure and biological susceptibility to infection to the social and economic implications, including how these interact with other areas of inequality. Domestic violence is a highly relevant example. So just as much as it is true that you cannot be what you cannot see, you cannot See what you don't learn to look for. So this is an issue of increasing importance in all we do in healthcare, and not least in primary care as frontline healthcare workers. So for the future, I hope to see that the gender lens will be explicit and penetrate all policy work from Wonka's side, all advocacy work. And I will do my best to follow up on that, of course. Then to training and description of family medicine in rural areas. And I know that the way I put this might be a little bit provocative. There is a common understanding, I think, not among maybe budget makers, but a lot of other people who are engaged in debate on health systems and healthcare, that we need a workforce trained for primary care in order to meet the needs. So recruit, retain, train and retain, that's the main challenge. Speaking primary care in rural and remote areas especially, which I also know from my own country. And I highly appreciate the efforts behind the concept of the rural pathway. And I recognize the need for appropriate skills and equipment. In advocacy, however, my experience is that unity is an effective impact factor. So the manyer we are, the stronger the message. And family medicine is actually the common denominator here. We are providing, whatever context we are working in, comprehensive, continuous and person-centered care in the communities. And Wonka wants to embrace all the different contexts family doctors are working in, and respecting the diversity of contexts, including the team mentioned already. And then let me then circle back and get back to the gender lens. As educators and engaged in professional development of the team as well, we should aim at train also women to take leadership. So we no longer can say that health is delivered by women led by men. So in advocacy and in building collegial communities like Wonka, I hope we will continue to look for synergies and use them. Again, thank you very much for the work you're doing. I have had the privilege to attend a couple of the webinars and learned a lot. So back to you, Bruce.
Thanks, Anna. And yes, it's a you bring some really good points there, and we do. The next generation will be increasingly female. The next doctor, it looks like, and I hope in my small town to follow on me will be a female doctor who's decided to come and stay. So I think that is the future, and we need to build on that. The other thing about this is about primary care, and I know Roger Strasser's just done with Sarah, a very important piece of work for the World Bank, looking at what primary care means in rural areas, and with due respect, I think in rural areas it is a bit different from in the cities because it has to be. Roger, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, thank you very much, Bruce. And first, let me say thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this large and highly esteemed panel. And also, while I have the opportunity, I just want to congratulate everyone for bringing this conference together. Zakur Rahman and the team in Bangladesh, really a truly phenomenal experience, this conference over the many months that we've been together on a regular basis. So I think thank you to the Network Towards Unity for Health, Nick Torres and the team, and of course to you, Bruce, and the Wonka Rural team, a truly outstanding Rural Wonka conference. So congratulations to all on that. So picking up your question about rural primary healthcare, the central message of the blueprint is that rural care is about high quality health care that's accessible to people close to home in remote and rural communities. Primary health care in rural areas should have the characteristics of being both primary in terms of first contact care and also comprehensive, local, grounded and proactive in addressing the health needs of the rural communities. Healthcare combines really public health and the focus on education, health promotion, and illness with access to clinical services that meet the need of the local population in the remote and rural communities. And these clinical services encompass treatment of acute illnesses and injuries, chronic conditions, and issues facilitated by ongoing relationships amongst the healthcare providers, the patients, and the broader community. Delivering high quality local comprehensive primary healthcare requires a team, health workers who are generalists and have a broad range of knowledge and clinical skills and who work closely together in a cohesive team to develop a long-term community engagement. Frequently, rural practitioners live in the community they serve, and they are what I describe as extended generalists. So they provide a wider, compared to their counterparts in the cities, rural practitioners provide a wide range of services, carry a higher level of clinical responsibility and relative professional isolation. And this is true, not only talking about doctors, family doctors and other medical specialists, but also about nurses and nurse practitioners, about pharmacists and physiotherapists, about all members of the health team are extended generalists. And as I said, they frequently live in the community that they serve, which gives them the opportunity to influence the health of the whole community at a whole community level, not only through individual interactions with people as patients and their family members. So, drawing this together, primary health care is the organizing influence for high quality healthcare for people living in remote rural communities, high quality healthcare close to home, accessible to people in remote and rural communities.
Thanks, Roger. I'm going to now pass to our last speaker. We've had a few that have missed out, unfortunately. We had a couple of others, but we're running out of time, and we've obviously been unable to connect to a couple. But the last one's very appropriate, I think, and that's Raman Kumar, who not only was one of our lecturers, but has been a real champion in South Asia. Raman, you've been involved in not only getting the Academy of Family Physicians of India established, you're its president now, but you've been involved in getting family practice recognised and having both qualifications and certification. Would you like to just reflect on what the blueprint means to you as we close this session? We're just having a little bit of trouble hearing you, Raman.
Kumar.
That's better, yeah.
Okay, thank you. From our experience in our region, South Asia, we have somewhat similar countries, similar geographical profile, population, demographies, and challenges. And the way I see it, to strengthen rural health through reforming the healthcare professional training and education, there has to be an active effort to do that, because one thing is we do have medical education system in all of our respective countries, South Asia, but the character of the medical education training centers is outright, it's tertiary care oriented, urban, geographically concentrated in certain metropolitan regions or well-developed part of the respective countries. And we need to look into this. If I see from Indian example, we have more than 500 medical schools, which is probably one of the largest medical education system in the world, but 2/3 of it is largely located in the southern part of India, where we have better population health, but in the northern part where we have more population density and morbidity, we are still challenged. So recently, there has been effort to address this, and now we have policy decision that we will have a medical school on each of the districts, 700 districts of India. But still, the question is the character of the training centers in terms of the curriculum. So although we talk a lot and we understand that our medical graduates would become or would serve rural population or community-based healthcare service providers, but this commitment is not visible many times in our curriculums. It is not formalized in the curriculums. So if you look the MBBS curriculum, although in bits and pieces, it is part of many disciplines and specialties. The clinical service to be provided by the specialist, and the preventive part to be taken care of by Department of Preventive Social Medicine, which kind of synonymous with public health departments in medical schools, healthcare training institutions. And this kind of leaves limited space for the generalist that we talk about in our blueprint. So the space is not formalized. It is not appropriately placed. So be it urban or rural or family practice or rural healthcare professionals, the generalist concept has to be strengthened and formalized within the medical education system, starting from the curriculum itself, starting from the undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate programs. So that is very, very important for us in South Asia to look into and develop resources to address that. The second thing which is important in the blueprint is the recruitment of medical students. And here we again we see in our region the students are the one who are well resourced in terms of financially well off. They are the one who would go to private medical schools, and for the government the public funded free medical schools, it is the one who are who have received the best of the schoolings. They enter through it is open entrance examination, and we do not have any affirmative action available for the rural communities, the students who belong to the rural communities or who are locally recruited. So although we have talks of having a medical school in each of the districts, it does not ensure that the students will be recruited from the local communities, and it is most likely that they will be recruited from the best of the schools, and they would return back to their own cities and towns once they are done with their medical education. So just calling or placing a medical school is in a rural area or a lesser developed area does not necessarily address the problem. And I would suggest to look into the models, the Canadian model, Professor Roger Strasser, a lot of work, how medical education can be geographically spread. It not necessarily be a big tertiary care center, built up in urban center or in isolation. It can be spread over a geographical location, and that is something we need to challenge in our current construct of the medical education system in our region. Talking about gender and women, we do see a lot of girls, women in our profession in South Asia. They make very good doctors also, but given our social and cultural perspective background, it is important we help them. We together work in a way that they continue their professional activities after completion of their education. In some part of our region, we see that women are encouraged to join medical schools because it is prestigious and it is a good matchmaking kind of thing. And once they complete their education, they are back to their families and they do not pursue the profession at all. And this is a problem. So having large number of women or girl students within schools is not sufficient. We need to create environment where they can contribute optimally throughout their professional careers and their lives. So that is all we need to understand, and message that comes out from the rural blueprint. Thank you all, the team of Wonka Rural, South Asia, Rural Health Bangladesh, and everyone associated with this event. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for this opportunity, Bruce. Thank you.
Thanks, Raman. And Anna, there's a challenge for you, and I think we all want to work with Raman to make sure that the women reach their potential and able to show that in rural practice. So, look, I think we probably need to bring this to a close, this session. It's been great, and thank you very much for your comments on the blueprint. Keep them coming in. You can certainly email me. I'll put the email up a little bit later and make sure that you're involved. This is not the end of this blueprint. This is just the beginning, obviously, and we'll be looking at trying to get endorsement from yourselves, but also endorsement from other organizations, and also actually putting an action plan together with countries around the blueprint. And certainly Zakur and his team will be working with us after this conference to try and do that. So I'm going to hand back to Zakur now for the rest of the celebrations. And so over to you, Zakur.
Well, thanks, Bruce. Thank you, everyone who contributed to Blueprint Declaration of 17th Dongha World Rural Health Conference Declaration Bangladesh 2021. So we now needed to make it action plan, to make it easy, accessible, and workable in Bangladesh as well as in South Asian country. We do share same thing, same model in rural areas. So even in every part of the corner, rural people are some sorts of limited thing or faces some challenges. So everything coming up in blueprint. So after heard everything and all the way to the blueprint, now I'm say hope it will work, and massive message to policymaker and stakeholder, as well as it will be a future instrument or tool to use it in rural Lanka. And the organizing committee and as well as Primary Care and Rural Health Bangladesh, very happy to communicate all of you. And we will make it to other organization as well to endorse it, and then we'll go for a publication. In between, we'll work it with you and Bruce as well. So thank you very much for everything you did. And we are now near to closing the first part and blueprint and panel thing. So thank you, everyone. And now we want to go for our second part, that is celebration. All the young boys, girls, and young team and senior member as well from Bangladesh as well as in South Asia, you know, all the countries of my Warsaw colleague. And you heard Ramon, South Asia president. We heard every corner from Raja and our founding chair of Rural Lanka. And so many people are there. I saw John Jones. We may hear some word from John Jones, our next part. And we have a video from Garth and video from President Donald Lee. We hear Anna Stepdal from Norway, our incoming president. So many things. I may miss some name. So we'll go for our next part. And I would like to invite all of you to join our next part. We have some talk. We have some guests with us, chief guest, Minister of Information, People's Republic of Bangladesh, Dr. Moaz Hassan. We have special guests, Professor Mahmoud Al-Madhab is from BSMU. So Prime University of Medical Science in Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Medical University. This is Mujib 100 years we're celebrating this year. And especially today is 21st February, the International Mother Language Day. The befitting manner is observed here in Bangladesh as well. So, Bruce, are you finished it? And we go for next one.
Go ahead. You just let us know what you'd like to do next, Zakur. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, sir, join us, sir. Dr. Abu Said, are you hearing me?
While we're waiting for Abu Syed, Zakur, we could, if you like, I'll play the video from Donald Lee, President of WONCA.
Yeah. You start video, and now we want to see the message from President WONCA, Donald Lee. Please.
Sorry, it's coming.
I'm delighted to have the opportunity to contribute to your closing ceremony for WONCA World Rural Health Conference 2020 and to acknowledge the fantastic work of the wonderful team which made it happen. We all looked forward to coming to Dhaka in 2020 for the World Rural Health Conference. It was entirely fitting that it should be held in Bangladesh, a small country with a large population, but with a very rural base. COVID-19 sadly intervened, but Zakur Rahman and the whole team responded so quickly and flexibly to convert the event into a virtual one, run over several weeks and months, producing webinars and other events for the WONCA community. For all of this, we send a massive thanks to the organizing team, and we also pay tribute to the great support from Bruce Chater and the WONCA World Working Party on Rural Practice. Together, you have risen to the challenge and turned potential disaster into triumph. On behalf of WONCA, I thank all of you for the great efforts and for the wonderful outcomes. We very much look forward to meeting in person for the next conference.
Thanks very much to Donald Lee there, and I'll pass back to Zakur.
Yeah, now thank you very much, Mr. President Donald Lee, for your nice talk, and hopefully we'll meet in next conference. Unfortunately, COVID make a problem to meet us here face to face, but still we have so many young guys in on board. We are not only virtual, we are also some sorts of people with us. So now I would like to invite Professor Mamunal Mahatab. Professor Mamunal Mahatab is a very generous advisor of primary care Royal Health Bangladesh. He is very fond of primary care, though he is placed in a tertiary level university, Bangladesh Sheikh Mujib Medical University. He has so many credentials. He has passion on research, more than hundreds of research papers he already have, and so many things. So Professor Mamunal Mahatab, for your speech as special guest. So our special guest, Professor Mamunal Mahatab.
I can see Manam there. Manam, can you hear us? I might ask you to, there we go.
Sorry, thank you very much once again. It has been a pleasure actually joining your meeting and participating in different capacities. I remember I was there on the inaugural occasion. I also had the, you are also kind enough to allow me to speak on one of the sessions. Today I was in the panel, and I also fondly remember Zakir and others. Professor Nurul Islam is here, Professor Kanubala is here, who very kindly involved me in organizing this meeting. I'm grateful to you. I am a university teacher, but technically we are a public university and we can be members of WONCA, and so I am. I actually would like to congratulate Zakir for taking the courageous step of organizing this World Meet. It was ultimately held virtually, but it was supposed to be held physically. So it was a big challenge that he took, and I'm happy that despite the pandemic situation, it did went on very well in whatever way we could have it in virtual media, with all the support from the international community, from WONCA headquarters, from Bruce and everyone. I am sure that this meeting will be a major boost for family practice in Bangladesh and will go a long way in strengthening the primary healthcare network and the framework in Bangladesh. I can, without taking much longer of your time, I can assure you that from my little capacity, whatever is doable, I will do to support WONCA, rural health, rural WONCA, and in general family healthcare in Bangladesh for the greater interest of our people actually. As I always say, that I have very fond connection with WONCA because the first international conference where I presented a paper was in 1999 in Kuching, the first World Rural Health Congress, I think. So I fondly remember that conference being the very first conference in my life, an international conference where I had the opportunity of presenting a paper. So this conference is very dear to me actually, because today I'm also linked here in another World Rural Health Congress. So I want to thank you all and listen to the remaining special guests and our Honorable State Minister for Information who will be highlighting us. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you for giving Bangladesh the honor of hosting the conference, and I'm sure Zakir and the team and all of us from Bangladesh will try to do justice to take WONCA rural health, general practice, primary healthcare to further heights from this new start. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Manam. You've done yourselves proud, and we are so pleased to see so many of you talking tonight and telling us about what you're doing and what you plan to do. So congratulations to you all. Back to you, Zakir.
Thank you, Professor Mamunal Madhav, for excellent help and excellent talk there. You are always like that. So now I want to request John Wynne Jones, actually the immediate past WONCA chair, and he visited Bangladesh. And I remember so many sweet memories. John Wynne Jones, the young man, my friend, please tell something your experience and my young guys. So John Wynne Jones.
Thank you, Zakir. Thank you, Bruce. And thanks for allowing me to say just a few words at the end of this unique and fruitful experience. I'd like to start by quoting the words of the great Bengali poet Rabindranath Tagore. And he's one of the giants of modern South Asian literature and the first non-European origin person to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. And this is a message for all those young doctors who've made this happen. And I emphasize young doctors. And those young doctors whose enthusiasm and belief endured the initial disappointment that came with the pandemic. Tagore said, "Reach high, for the stars lie hidden in you. Dream deep, for every dream precedes the goal." And I think, Zakir, to a certain extent, you guys have already shown that this works. It's 2 years, and it seems such a long time since I visited Bangladesh in preparation for what was to be a gathering of colleagues from around the world to celebrate the 17th WONCA World Rural Health Conference. I was just bowled over, mesmerized by this wonderful country, its people, its welcome, its landscape, and its ancient and deep culture. My great sadness is that all of you watching today, many of you, will not be able to experience it in person, but I implore you at some stage to visit Bangladesh. Go and visit, go and have a look at healthcare, go and look at this wonderful country. During my stay, I was given the great honor of being made an honorary fellow of the Bangladesh Academy of Family Physicians. And as a result, I feel that it's a very small part, that I'm a very small part of this inspiring movement that is leading to the blossoming of family medicine primary care here. One of our major aspirations in planning this conference was that it would leave a lasting legacy for family medicine and primary care, in particular in rural practice. I really believe that this has happened despite the restrictions placed on us by the pandemic. I want to also pay tribute in Bangladesh to the way that they've managed this awful pandemic. And I hope that we can all spare a moment to remember those family doctors and nurses who gave their lives. Every loss was a painful loss to this young country. The standout memory of my visit and my subsequent experience is that all this will happen and is happening. There's a momentum driven by young, enthusiastic doctors led by the remarkable, and I'm sure by now you all know the remarkable Zakia Rahman. Hopefully, with a growing cohort of young professionals, we need to build mechanisms to support them in rural practice. And I wish that we could roll out the mentorship program that Mayara Floss and her colleagues in Rural Seeds trialed 2 years ago. There's still some mileage to do there. What we've learned from this pandemic is that we have developed new ways to communicate, new ways to make a larger global community. But family medicine is still about people. It's about relationships. It's about communication. Don't let our managers and politicians use the opportunity to swap the computer screen, swap the patient for the computer screen, because it's a great privilege being close to your patients and being immersed in the rural experience. So thank you, Zakia, for all that you've done and for my very great welcome when I visited you. Special thanks to two old friends, and that's Professor Kanubalu and Nurul Islam, just wonderful friends, and I find that I have a deep relationship and friendship with them. I'd also like to mention another remarkable person, and that's Abu Saeed, and who established the Rural Medical School in Brown Barrier, where I spent 2 days immersed with the students. Abu Saeed, congratulations for what you've achieved. Finally, I want to thank Bruce Chater. Bruce, I look you in the eyes. I've said this many times, but I don't know where you get the energy from. Well done. You've single-handedly and single-mindedly, mostly on your own, made this happen, despite the first major global pandemic in over a century. This may be the end of the conference, but it's part of a movement that will ensure that all rural Bangladeshi people turn off their, thank you. We ensure that all rural Bangladeshi people and communities receive universal health coverage with access to effective and efficient family medicine and primary care. Finally, I return to Tagore and a message for those young doctors who are making this happen. Tagore said, "Age considers, but youth ventures." Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Thank you very much for all your help for the conference. And we are very glad to you. You have so many friends here in Bangladesh. So now I'd like to a short talk from Raymond Kumar, the brilliant young man from India, or running South Asian president. For a short talk, please.
Thank you, Dr. Zakir. I've already spoken my mind related to Blueprint, and I would like to congratulate again. I see many of our colleagues from Nepal. I can see Dr. Yogendra Mansakya, and there are several colleagues I can see from other parts of the world. And thank you all for joining us and making this event success in South Asia, which is 25% of the human population on Earth. It is very, very important that we continue to focus on the most pressing human needs in our, not only in this part of the world, but the rest of the world as well. So thank you all, and thank you. And I'm sure this conference will be a great impact on the future development of health systems in our region, and also it will be helpful for many parts of the world to look at what all has been discussed scientifically as well as academically. So thank you, and thanks a lot. My best wishes to all of you. Hopefully we will be out of this pandemic soon and will be able to meet each other face to face again. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Raman Kumar. I see Professor Jogendra Shakko from Nepal Tribhuvan University. Jogendra, are you hearing me? Just say one or few words to us. Professor Jogendra Shakko from Nepal.
Thank you, Professor Zakir Rahman, and thank you, Professor Raman Kumar, our Southeast Asia president, recognizing, acknowledging me, and I enjoyed this meeting, and I really keep in touch and giving of a lot of your ideas how you explore the general practice knowledge among the rural setups. Our general practice, did you hear, Raman? Did you hear? You hear?
Yes,
our general practice is purely rural based. Whenever our graduated, now our Ministry of Health, mandatory, the graduate must have to work 2 years in the rural, and they do most of the cesarean section, as well as the appendectomy and other minor operation also. This is the beauty. In the past, people are, I don't know about the figure, but nowadays, most of the rural places, our general practitioners are working. And we feel very proud of our expertise are now, went all over the Nepals. And I hope this our program will be fulfilled, and other specialty will give recognitions as well as. I'm very much happy to joining, and congratulations to all teams. Especially, I'm seeing the Bruce Chatter also taking part actively and involving all the colleagues. Thank you, Zakir Rahman, for giving me this time. I enjoyed.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor from Tribhuvan University, Nepal. And we have so many things to announce, so many awards, and we have a cake festival, and especially we have an announcement. We are with our Honorable State Minister, Minister of Information, People's Republic of Bangladesh, Dr. Murad Hassan. And very shortly he will introduce with us and talk as our chief guest on the occasion of closing of 17th Dongka World Rural Health Conference in Bangladesh here. So before
you have a message from Garth Manning as well. Would you like me to play that?
Before going to Minister, we want to hear from Garth, immediate the CEO, Garth Manning. Please show her video, and next we will go for hear our speech of chief guest, our Honorable State Minister, Dr. Murad Hassan. Please, guest from home and abroad, stay with us. Now, Garth Manning.
Hello, everyone. My name is Garth Manning, and until very recently, I was Chief Executive Officer of WONCA. It gives me huge pleasure to send this message to Zakir Rahman and all of his colleagues in Bangladesh as they near the completion of the World Rural Health Conference 2020. It wasn't quite as they'd planned, and I know that they had planned a wonderful event in Bangladesh in April 2020. I'd paid a visit to Bangladesh the previous summer, and I know what fantastic plans they had put together and how much they were looking forward to hosting everyone in their fantastic country. I lived and worked in Bangladesh from 2000 to 2003, and it has a very special place in my heart. And I too was excited at the idea of people going along and seeing the real Bangladesh and meeting some of the nicest people in the world. However, COVID got in the way, but it's to the great credit of Zakir and to Bruce Chater as chair of the WONCA Working Party in Rural Practice, that they managed to put together a whole series of webinars to keep the whole World Rural Health Conference concept alive. And I know that webinars have been very well received, and many people have enjoyed participating. The event's coming to a close, and huge credit to Zakir and his colleagues and to Bruce for what they have achieved. Hopefully at some future date, the Rural Health Conference can finally make it to Bangladesh. I think that would be great. In the meantime, we look forward to other rural events, including in 2022, the Rural Health Conference in my home country of Ireland. So I hope we might meet up with many of you there. So to Zakir, to Bruce, and to all the colleagues in the Wonka Working Party on Rural Practice, my warmest congratulations, and thank you for all the great work that you're doing on behalf of rural practice. It really is very much appreciated. Thank you all.
Thanks, Garth Manning, our immediate past CEO. He also visited Bangladesh on the eve of conference preparation in earlier summer and after John and Jones. So many planned at that time. Unfortunately, COVID challenged again. So we are waiting to connect our Honorable Minister. So before that, I want to hear a very short talk from Jerry Cowley. He is from Ireland, my friend. He all the way to our webinars. And Jerry Cowley, very short before our go to our chief guest. And we have so many award announcement and cake celebration.
Thank you, Zakir, and thank you very much for the honor of being able to say a few words at this very prestigious event. And I'm so pleased to have been part of it and to see how you've turned a complete, what could have been a disaster into a wonderful triumph. A triumph not just for you and for Bangladesh, but I think for rural practice all over the world. And I think that I've learned so much personally, and it has reinforced my belief in the need to fly the flag high for rural health. And you have done that for your country, Bangladesh, and I hope that continues to prosper your good work and the work of Rural Wonka. And this has been just a wonderful event, and we look forward to seeing you all in Ireland, either virtually or physically, 2022. Thank you very much indeed, and thank you, Bruce.
Okay. So thanks, Jerry Cowley, and thanks for you people for nice work.
Zakir, I wonder whether, in fact, we're very excited about coming to see Jerry the year after next, but this year we've still got another virtual conference coming with Innocent, and whether Innocent might like to just share with us just some thoughts about the Uganda conference that we're hoping to bring together later in the year. Innocent?
So, Bruce, you see Dr. Murad Hassan want to connecting. Please see the issue.
Connecting?
Yeah, he's connecting. He's our Honorable State Minister, Minister of Information, People's Republic of Bangladesh.
Excellent.
I still not.
If he's not quite connected, maybe if Innocent could say something now, Zakir.
Innocent, please go for next Uganda conference before coming to Minister. Innocent.
Yes, thank you, Bruce, for giving me this opportunity to say something about the upcoming Uganda conference. But first of all, I want to really thank very much our colleagues and our colleagues in Bangladesh for really successfully doing this kind of conference for the very first time, and we are hopeful that we shall learn from their experiences and see how to do better. The 18th Wonka World Rural Health Conference will be organized by the Association of the Family Physicians of Uganda, of course in collaboration with the Wonka Rural Working Party. We also have the support from the Wonka Africa, and really want to recognize that. And also we are active participants of the Afro PHC, which is also going to be holding a virtual workshop in 2021. And we hope that with the support that we have from East Africa and from Africa, we should be really able to pull through quite well. Really, I am inviting all of you to actively participate in this virtual 18th Wonka Rural Health Conference, where we shall be sharing ideas and experiences of what we have learned as we really provide rural health care. As El said before, Uganda falls in the category of the low and middle income countries where more than 80% of the population is in the rural areas. And surely these people need us. So we hope to engage almost all of the stakeholders, the politicians, the health consumer organizations, academic institutions, and the ministries of health to really work together and leverage on what is happening to make sure that we improve the rural health of our population. I really want to thank you all, and I really invite you to participate actively in the activities. We shall surely be doing what our colleagues in Bangladesh have done, but from what we have learned, and I'm sure all of you what you have learned, it has been a wonderful experience and it was of its kind, but we are hoping that each one of you will learn a lot from what is happening in Africa, where most of the population is rural. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Innocent. Back to you, Zakur.
Bruce, our chief guest can trying to join. Would you please see Dr. Morad Hassan? Yeah, I saw now he's joined. So he's Honorable State Minister, Minister of Information. Earlier he was in State Minister of Health. He's very popular among doctors community as well as peoples of Bangladesh. So now I would like to invite our Honorable Minister, Dr. Morad Hassan, for his valuable speech as chief guest on the occasion of 17th Wonka World Rural Health Conference. Please welcome Dr. Morad Hassan. He is our Honorable State Minister, Ministry of Information, People's Republic of Bangladesh.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The organizer of the 17th Wonka World Rural Health Conference 2020. Today, 21st February 2021 is our International Mother Language Day. The Bangladesh is observing the day in a very befitting manner. Today, the closing ceremony of the 17th World Rural Health Conference organized by Primary Care and Rural Health Bangladesh. It is courtesy by Brahmanbaria Medical College and Hospital. I want to extend my thanks to the organizers for inviting me as the chief guest of this closing ceremony. I heard every region of the world participated. The virtual conference over the last 4 months with several webinars, multiple keynotes, speech, and with the conference declaration Bangladesh 2021. I share with all of you about the substantial progress in Bangladesh and other countries of the world. Our government of Bangladesh made a tremendous improvement of rural health care by establishing community clinics. For each 6,000 people, there is one community clinic in Bangladesh. It is about the total count of community clinics, what is serving the rural peoples of Bangladesh who are living in the grassroots levels, in the village, very primary level peoples who are getting the service from these community clinics. The community clinic providing the peoples without any payment. They are getting 30 types of medicine free, and all the treatments are free over there. So we believe This achievement in Bangladesh made our countries as an exemplar in LMIC and demonstrate the country's commitment to ensure the health care for all the peoples. Finally, I want to extend my thanks to all of you again, and I want to conclude myself here, and I wish all the best and success of the primary care and rural health Bangladesh. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Jai Bangla, Jai Bangabandhu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Dr. Murad Hassan, for your nice talk. So many improvement of rural health and primary care by present government, and very positively taken by our foreign colleagues. And we needed the blueprint to now in action. And that's for WHO and other organizations, and even ONCA, all are endorsed this declaration. And hopefully it will be in action and go through policy making by your government. And we all people are trying to serve the country in a befitting manner in rural area, what you said like that. So thank you very much, Mr. Minister, Dr. Murad Hassan, on behalf of organizing committee 17th ONCA World Rural Health Conference and Rural ONCA, thanks to you and your ministry. Thank you all for your concerned ministry people, those who are connecting me last couple of days and so many working days. So thank you for your